And anyway, what I was saying, I was face to face with the man himself. I was looking him straight in the eye and I said, "Oh my God, you're Dr. Disrespect." And then he disappeared. Oh, we're live. We're live. Sorry, everyone.
Shut. Shh. Quiet, Nico.
We're not
You
meant to
can't be
say
revealing
that
these
stuff.
things.
We
Okay.
can't. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone. We're back. We're back. Judge and I, the usual crew. Thank you, Ray, for handling this show. He did a great job handling it last week. But we're back. The usual crew, the OGs, if you will. We're back. Judge, how you been? How you been? What
I've
have you
been
been up
good,
to?
man. I've been busy, mate. I got a job. Would you
got a-
believe it?
A
Judge
JOB?
Brand got a job. Yeah, JOB, 50-hour a week.
Yeah.
This white boy, eyebrows on fleek. Yeah, it's great, man. No,
heard-
I'm tired as fuck, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to be back on the show. And keeping up with all things esports. And by keeping up with all things esports, I mean doing half an hour of cramming while I also stuff a Baconator Bacon Deluxe in my face, ready for the show. So yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm good, man. How are you?
I
How are
mean,
you?
I'm doing great, man. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known. I heard that JOB, job stands for Judge on Board. So hell, I'm glad you're here to spare some time and get on board for this one.
Always.
Anyway, I'm glad I nipped that in the bud right away. Judge, I'd love to chat you two all night and catch up because we literally just got into the call and we're just fresh. We're so fresh at seeing each other. But first, we have to get into the meat of it. And by the meat of it, I mean one of the more integral, the most historical, the biggest veteran in oceanic esports. And of course, I'm talking about Carbon Tim Wendell. Tim,
Woo!
thank you and welcome to the show. We're so good to have you on again because you have been on before, but now we've got you back again. And you're looking great, man. How you been?
Meaty. I feel meaty.
You've been meaty.
No, I'm good. Been really good. Just same old. Working, I guess, COVID stuff. But also it's been really exciting watch the guys play through the end of the OPL season. And to watch the gauntlet last weekend was pretty fun as well. So I've been good. Excited for tomorrow. See how it goes.
Hell yeah. It's been exciting watching the team go from strength to strength throughout the whole season. You guys were quite dominant, if I must say. But I just want to know, if I dust off an old Ducky reference, we're gonna dial it back. We're gonna take it back. I just want to know, and why we've got you here, I want to know the history of the legacy. I want to know the story, the arc, if you will, from your perspective as the person who's been there since day dot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, I played Pro League a long time ago. My first ever year of Pro League was in 2014. I played 2 tournaments. I went from just like complete amateur. I actually didn't really even know what esports was. Like I never went to LAN cafe or like a LAN tournament or anything like that. Like I knew about like TSM and I'd watched Worlds the year before just because like it was on like the league forums and stuff. You know what I mean? They were pushing it through the client. So I had like that was more or less the totality of my knowledge around esports. And then basically I just got invited out of the blue just because I'd been climbing solo queue ladder. I was I think rank 1 in season 3 or season 4. I had like achieved rank 1 at one point during the year. And someone reached out and they were like, "Hey, are you interested in trying blah, blah, blah?" Okay. So I did that. I played my first 2 major lands under AV, Vanguard.
Right. Yep.
And then after the first ever land I played in, I finished 3rd or equal 3rd, 4th. And then the second LAN I played in, I won, and that got me qualification through to Worlds. After the second LAN, I sort of had a look at what I was doing. You know what I mean? Took a step back, had a look at what I was doing. I had the same year, 2014 was also the year that I like officially graduated from university. So I'd finished my classes and stuff the year before, but like just the way graduation works, they pushed it back like 4 or 5 months into the start of 2014. So I got my degree at the same time as I'd sort of started playing these lands. So it was like, it was just like a moment where I was like, okay, like what am I doing here? Like I've just, at the time I had just been to like the Gold Coast and then to Perth. And now I knew I was going to Germany, and so I was like, okay, what am I doing here? Like, am I going to go to? I just finished placement a few months earlier. I was doing placement a few months earlier, and I was like, okay, am I going to pursue that because they had offered me a role to stay on? And I was like, okay, am I going to do that, or am I going to look for work, or like what am I going to do basically? And I thought, well, I'm playing for AV. They seem to be doing something with it, and I'd spoken to the other guys on the team, and I was like, okay, why don't we just do this ourselves? So that was more or less the genesis. That was how it all started. Um, then we played a few more lands, whatever. I think in 2015, or like late 2015, or sometime during that year, I had met Michael Carmody, who was
Mm-hmm.
looking for a way to get into esports, or was like interested in esports, and him, myself, and or him and myself. Essentially, I was going to say my dad, but I spoke to him. I spoke to my dad and a few other boys, because originally everybody on that original team were all officially shareholders, and we was registered to the company, blah blah blah. So everybody was involved, but just as the years went on, and more like esports sort of developed and more work came up, like the others weren't as keen on that side, I guess, of the industry. Like, and we were all still
Mm-hmm.
pro players at the same time, and a lot of that work sort of just fell to me. Like, it was never really like the intention was never really to like start an esports org and be the boss, and like where I am now, it was not. Yeah, that was never the intention. It just sort of ended up that way.
Right.
But like more and more stuff came up, and I just found myself doing it more and more. And the others, either went on to play for other teams or just became less interested. Um, but yeah, so I met Mike in like 2015ish, and we started talking about, okay, well, what else can we do with this? And we started moving into other games. We got involved in CS, Smite, Rocket League, Super Smash Brothers, basically every game that we could see that we
Oh
thought,
wow, you guys really spread it out there.
yeah, we exploded. It was just like we were league only, but we were like a pretty big
Mm.
name in the league. And at the time, league, just because of like the amount of support Riot was giving us, was definitely like we were definitely in a really good position compared to like a lot of the other orgs who had been around a little bit longer, especially like the CS guys, because we were getting support directly from the publisher, which was pretty rare at that stage. And so we just sort of exploded. We just got into as many games as we could, just like off the bat, and then from there, it's just I don't know, the classic esports org story. Like you slowly pick up sponsors. We won a couple titles. We won like one of the CS:GO Nats. We won a Smite title. We won a title in like Rocket League. Um, Smash. We had won a few things. It took us a long time to earn a League of Legends title, but we've got one of those now as well. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of things happened, you know what I mean, between then and
yeah.
now, but that's more or less it. We
I
sold,
mean,
I
yeah.
sold the club in 2017 when I retired. I sold the club to the Crows. The reason I'd done that was like I wasn't actually like I had been courting investors probably for 6 months before that, like in
Mhm.
2016 already, because originally I was going to retire in 2016. Um, but then I didn't. Um, I sort of wanted to play again, but then also in 2016, I knew already that next year was going to be too much work. I wasn't going to be able to balance it, because we,
Yep.
we had a number of partners, we had a whole bunch of games, um, and yeah, between Mike and I, we were pretty much responsible for all of it, and there was 40, 50 people, including staff at the club. And it was just going to be way too much. So I knew that already in 2016, but then in 20, I was like, oh, if I could go again anyway. I was having trouble
Mm.
replacing myself because I was having trouble replacing myself at the time. There wasn't someone who was going to keep the team competitive, so I didn't feel comfortable stepping aside. Um, but yeah, that year it was just crazy. It was just way too much work. I definitely drowned in between playing and running the org. And
Hmm.
yeah, like maybe 3 months into the year, I'd met Nigel Smart and the Crows, and I'd been speaking to them for a while, and we didn't come out. Like we didn't. The sale wasn't official until like July, August, I think, towards the end of Split Two. But like we had been working with them since like March, um, and then we've been with the Crows for the last 3 years, and it's been really good.
Nice. That's very impressive. It's kind of a lot when you lay it out like that. When you just like put everything down, it's just like you've achieved so much in a space that is quite like could be unforgiving at times. So I think it's like a very, it's quite a admirable feat that you've done. Yeah, I think it's quite commendable.
I mean, it was
From
unforgiving. Like we had a lot of close calls where it was like, where it was like, you know what I mean? Like either money was super tight, or players coming and going, teams collapsing. Like I mean, everybody goes. That's why I say it's the classic esports thing. Because I'm sure every org has the same stories. But it was just. I mean, it's 6 years. We've been around 6 years, and a lot has happened.
Yeah, not many people can say that really. Like, not many orgs can definitely not say that. Um, I mean, if we look at Judge's background, we can see quite a bit of a relic behind him. In terms-
That's the
I
last
mean, is
jersey I
that
ever played in. I
yeah?
recognize that one.
Oh, in the night, the little tree relic over there as well. No, I'm not going to say.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's quite an achievement. That legacy of because I remember legacy back when I was playing on the 200 ping servers. So I mean, that's putting a. I mean, you cut me open and you can see all the rings on my leg. It's kind of like a long time ago. I mean, but I feel like we a lot of people that have played it for this long. I'm since like 2011 and so on. It's kind of we kind of look back on those kind of times and think of it. Do you ever think? Do you ever look back and like nostalgic moments? You know, when the team was like you guys were meeting up at LAN cafes and so on, or
Um, yeah, it's my experience is a bit different to like the classic OS or esports. I shouldn't say OS, but the classic esports veteran experience, I guess, because the LAN cafe thing I didn't really do. Like I said, we were really fortunate that, um, just I guess fortunate that League of Legends was the game that I'd chosen to play and
right?
get good in because, like, it was like out of the gate, Riot did so much. Like, the first lands we went to was like I like literally for me, I had never set foot in a net cafe before. Like that was like I lived in like not regional Victoria, like I didn't live on a farm, but like we lived like in the bush, outer suburbs. And like I
Mm-hmm.
just played at ADSL two, could constantly dropped out. Like it was just the horrible experience. I had a computer, I'd been using the same peripherals since like 2006. You know what I mean? I had like a tiny little Windows mouse and like the default Dell keyboard. Like that was the fucking that was my setup. You know what I mean? I knew nothing about what was
Yeah.
going on. And out of the gate, it was like the first thing I qualified for. I got flown to the Gold Coast. I stayed in a 5-star hotel on the beach. We played this land. We did really well. I got to meet all these people who were my friends. We just hung out, and you know what I mean. And the very next one was the
Mm.
same thing again. And then because I was fortunate enough to win it, like I was straight away on a plane to Germany. Same thing. You know what I mean? Like it was just like a whirlwind, and I really went from zero to like sort of the
Jesus.
gold standard, I think, of esports experience. So like for me, the nostalgia is like all those amazing trips I went on and the people I spent my time with. And I look back really fondly on that time. I think especially because like 2014, 2015 was like, especially in Australia, like esports was new. Uh, Esports of that size was new. Like, obviously, CS and stuff have been happening a long time before that. Like people were excited. There was like an air of excitement, and like Riot was really invested at the time. And like
Mm.
there was at every convention, there was like everybody loved League of Legends, and like there was like big stages, and like we were playing in front of huge crowds. Um, we hundreds, thousands of people at some of these events, and everybody wanted to meet you, and it was just like a really positive environment. You know what I mean? It was very like I feel like nowadays it's a little, and I mean it's not that long in between, but it's a little bit jaded,
Mm-hmm.
or it can be. You know what I mean? Like back then, there really wasn't that. Um, because I was having this conversation the other day. People didn't realize yet how much worse we were comparatively. Like everybody knew in like a esoteric sense that like, oh, Korea is really good, whatever. But it was like,
Yep.
I feel like the last few years has been like, oh, OS and League of Legends specifically, but really most games, it's like, oh, OS is going to there, and before you even play, people are shitting on you. Whereas back then, it really wasn't like that. So like, it was a really special
That's
time.
interesting. Yeah, that's quite interesting.
I fucked it up
Like,
for everyone.
do you think it's coming down to the business sort of thing that everyone's turning it into? It's now a business. It's now
Nah.
no.
No, it's like that part will always happen, and it has to happen, and it's happened all over the world. Um, and in some places, you'll lose some of the personality, you'll lose some of the culture as a result. And I think if you look, and I'm just gonna, but if you look at like the American LCS versus the European LEC, the products are very different. And I think with the
Mm-hmm.
LCS nowadays, you have a lot more that American style, um, corporatist approach to a league and like what it looks like. Whereas the LEC has that to an extent, but is also more personality, I think, involved. So I think I don't think it's that money corrupting esports or anything like that. I think it's just I don't know. It's a bit similar to like I think what NA goes through, where it's like the fans get disappointed can only be disappointed so many times before they. But then again, it's like in other sports, it's not the same, or maybe it is. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's like what I mean. Like I just feel like okay, when like Australia plays like soccer or something, football, and it's like okay, we're not that good, but people still support the team.
Yeah.
But maybe that's
No.
also wrong because they get shit on all the time too. So I don't know.
I think it's like the sports comparison is interesting because I've always found as Australians, other than things we're inherently damn good at, like swimming and cricket, and of course Australian rules football because there's no contest. In more worldwide accepted sports, we have shining stars that come through for us. And I think we see it more and more in esports now as the years have rolled by. I know I certainly have. And Legacy's been a stepping stone for that as well. FBI is a very poignant League of Legends example, in that there are great players that can still come from our region regardless of background, and they can go on to achieve good things, and Aussies will still rally behind them. Although I kind of feel we rally more behind the Ben Simmons and the sporting greats more than we are esports greats at the moment. I don't tend to hear much from the home soil about our esports
Yeah,
outgoings, exports.
yeah. I think that's also like just an internet thing. Like people are just more negative on the internet in general. So like, what I mean? Like someone like Ben Simmons or Harry Kuehl or whoever, there's a lot of positive media comes out about them, and people speak more positively about them in like about that sort of that sphere in general. Whereas like, yeah, the internet is like if you're not, you know what I mean? Like you watch the best players in the world, and literally whatever team loses, you can watch the world's finals. The best team in the world playing against the second best team in the world, and if someone on the second best team makes a mistake, they're shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just blanket shit, and they just get shit on, and they're just and this is like, you know what I mean? There's the 10 best players out of like 60 million players, and only 5 of them are actually good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
know.
perspective issue
I
with
feel like it's
the
maybe
player
just
base.
I think it's just a internet culture thing.
There's certain levels of Australianism there as well. I think it's like a lot of people like to. I know, for example, like to see Australians do well overseas, and look at that kind of perspective. Because I know, speaking of the traditional sports, I've seen a lot of mainstream news outlets be like, "Oh, Lewis Hamilton came first in the F1, and this came second, and Daniel Ricciardo DNF." It's like, it's like you got to do this, but also the Australian did something as well. It's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah. Even DNF is something worth talking about.
yeah, it's a DNF. Like
Yeah, yeah,
he literally didn't fit. So I find that very interesting. We look on the jumping on the. I think we had 4 imports go out last year. So it was Fudge, Kingy. Was it
A
oh,
few more like that. I
Destiny?
think there was
Oh, probably a
10
few
to
more.
10 to 15 if you include coaches.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, because
We had a number of coaches go overseas as
Spooks
well.
went over and Choo Choo's went over as well,
Swiffer as
and
well.
so did Swiffer as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Swiffer went to XL.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's incorporate those all as well. So we like to like focus. I know here at Snowball, we like to focus on their stories and how they're doing overseas because it is at the end of the day it's like the representation. Like when your team goes up on stage, you are. Did you feel that at all when you went on stage? Did you feel like you're like the weight of your country or your region was on your shoulders?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
do you think that your team will feel that?
I think so. Like, I don't think you can't. Like, I don't know. It'd be weird if you didn't. You are the best of this group of people. So
Yeah.
when you go and you play, that group of people are you're representing. Now, some people might not care about that, or might not say that they care about it, but I mean, I certainly did, and I think at some level, everybody does. I remember. Yeah, I don't know. It was like I remember when I played the Worlds, I had this like sort of not speech, but I knew roughly what answers I would have given to like I had practiced in my mind, like, okay, if we win and I have to do an interview because they tell you like before the game, so because we had made the final, best of 5 to like qualify.
Was that the infamous everyone else's what did you say? Everyone else is trash or everyone? Well, they're not that good.
No, well, I sort of said that, but also
well.
What actually happened was they cut the clip in half. No,
fake news.
Yes,
fake news?
I literally got fake news. Okay, because they cut the clip in half. Because immediately after I said that, I provide like a qualifying statement where I was like, but obviously they're really good.
Set the story straight. Let's go.
But they just like cut that off and post that to Reddit, and that was like front page Reddit. Fucking, you know what I mean? All the EU casters were tweeting at me, telling me I was shit. And I was like, okay, but like I feel like I didn't even say anything that bad. But no. So like they tell you before, before the best of 5, they were like, okay, so like you're the captain, so like you'll do the interview if you win, okay? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, then like no worries. But I had like practice, and part of it was because there's so many negative things you can say about the Oceanic League of Legends server, or probably all the servers. But part of what I would have said was like shouting out even those people, because I was like, even even with all the shit, it's like that's where I come from, and so it's still like I'm still part of that, even if I don't like it, or even if it's frustrating when I'm dealing with it. But yeah, I think it's important. I don't know, like it's fun. It's fun. It gives it more meaning. You know what I mean? Like people are people are always looking for meaning in things, and I feel like in this one, it's a really obvious one. So just accept it.
It's kind of like meanings being offered on a silver platter, and they're like, "No, it's too easy. Must be shit."
Yeah.
I don't want that meaning. Give me meaning,
but not that one.
No, that meaning's not the meaning I want. It's meaning just like you, but it's not you.
It's not you, it's me.
Well, Carbon, let's bring it to the forward time. We've dialed it back. Now we're going to roll it forward. And let's talk about this season. Let's talk about Legacy's lonely position at the top of what's been the OPL Split 2 table. What's it been like there? Is the air cooler and fresher up there? And what's it been like watching the rest of the split play out?
It's been interesting. I was saying this. I was having this discussion with Denian the other day, talking about, because he was with us last year, and we obviously didn't have a very good year last year. I think we won 2 games or something for the whole year, and I was talking about how last year wasn't stressful because at a certain point, like I knew what the outcome was going to be. You know what I mean? Like, I knew likely we would lose. So you're looking for like positive signs, but you're not caught up in the result. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm not stressing. This year is the same, but the opposite, where I'm also not stressing, but because I know we're always going to win. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching a game and we'll be like 4K down or something, and I just don't care. Like it just doesn't matter to me that we are down gold, because I'm like, I know we're just going to win anyway. Like I know that someone is just going to outplay someone somewhere, and they're just going to come back and win. And we've lost. I mean, I think we lost 2 games or something during the regular split, and even the order series, was 3-1. It's like we haven't lost many games, so both years have been really peaceful for me because I knew we were always going to lose, and then this year I knew we were always going to win. So it's definitely been more fun doing it this way than the other way. But yeah, obviously still one big game to go, and yeah, I mean, hopefully we don't lose now.
So is the advice then, don't be middle of the pack, either be shit or be the best? Is that kind of,
absolutely,
you want to have stress-free in esports?
Yeah, that's my absolute recommendation to anybody who is doing this job is come last or come first, because in the year before, we were like a 4th, 5th place team, and we ran the gauntlet both splits to finish 3rd. So we had 2 3rd place finishes, which was like good. Up until that point, we had never finished lower than 3rd. So, but the actual season, both times we finished like 4th and 5th, and then all the gauntlet games were all like 5-game. We had some reverse sweeps in there. It was just crazy. It was just way stressful. So that was definitely. I mean, it was more exciting, but I don't know. I sort of like it this way.
Yeah, more exciting, but your cardiovascular health has dropped by about 10 years.
Yeah, every week is just me screaming at the TV.
How old are you really? It's probably just aged you like 5 to 10 years after that.
I've looked like this for a long time, don't I?
This is what esports
attractive,
does to you,
Tim.
kids.
You've looked gorgeous this whole time. Everyone's known it.
Thanks, mate.
We all know it.
I've been on esports for 11 years.
But Tim, it wasn't all domination constantly throughout the season. We saw a little bit of shaking, a little bit of wavering towards the end. What would you attribute this to? Is it just getting to the end of a tiring season amongst all that's 2020, or were we seeing some different legacy experiments coming out in later split matches?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things we did towards the end of the split, we gave Halo a lot of game time, as much game time as possible. We knew with finals coming up, and a month ago or so, restrictions seemed to be loosening here in New South Wales. That was sort of before the big Melbourne outbreak. And it looked like we may be heading in a positive direction to get back into the studio. So for us, it was like, okay, let's try and get as much game time into Halo as possible before the finals. And then, if we win the final, there will be no point in going to Worlds with Halo had he not played like a single game. So I think, like, for us strategically, having like the strength of having Halo is that we can play both mid laners, but the last few weeks of the season, we're more or less committed to only running the one. So that's been different in this final series. Like, strategic, that will be different. Like Tally played all the games, I think, for the order series the last time. But yeah, the idea now is that we'll be a lot more flexible. So I think dropping those games at the end of the season was like we had secured our spot. I think we had 2 more games after we had secured our spot, and the team actually wanted to, like, the boys actually just wanted to troll the last couple games because like we had already secured first, so they were just like they just kept running ideas by me of like, okay, but can we do this? And I'd be like, because my rule is if the games impact other people's standings, you know what I mean? Like, this team will make finals if we beat this team, and we're the best team, so like we should. So whatever. Like, my rule is like, look, if it impacts other people, I'd rather we didn't do it. But if there's no impact to anybody, then I don't mind. You know what I mean? Like,
so what you're saying is save the memes for Gravitas, right?
No, it would have been anyone. Like, it would have been, you know what I mean? If our games didn't have an impact, they would have done it against anyone, I think. But no, look, I'm not worried about. I think we lost the last game of the season against Chiefs, and we lost 1 game before that as well. But I don't think. I don't know. I don't like. It wasn't like a form slump. You know what I mean? It wasn't like scrims were going poorly.
Yeah.
or the team was doing it tough mentally or anything like that. Like we weren't having any issues really behind the scenes. It was just we dropped those few games. We had secured our first place. We'd committed to only using Halo. So I wouldn't worry.
Nice.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to we're gonna talk. We've talked about you a lot today. I just want to ask, how's the team doing? Are they doing well? Are they holding up well? Are they prepared? Give me an insight of what's the team. How they going?
They're doing well. They're in a good space, I think, mentally at the moment. They're all very keen for the match. Um, it is difficult this time of year to get effective practice just because with nothing left on the line for the other teams, um, most of them take a break. They all stop playing. So it's difficult to find
Hmm.
scrims and stuff. We've been fortunate that there's been a small group of people who've been willing to help us practice, which has been nice. I'm sure Order's going through the same thing. Um, so in terms of structured gameplay, not that much been happening, but preparation is still the same. The way we're doing our drafts and the plans for gameplay have all been the same, which has been good. Um, and I think all the guys are pretty confident. So I think we're looking good.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I just want to know, because I remember hearing about last week that I heard from the grapevine that Spawn was throwing a bit of a bit of waft towards Legacy's way. Um, I just want to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you? I want to hear you sling some mud back at them. Do you see any weaknesses in the Order's lineup? Like, what do you see? I feel like there might be. Is there anything that you're aiming towards?
I mean, I don't know exactly what Jake said. I didn't I didn't catch that episode, but I did have a few people reach out to me and say that he was on here talking a little bit of mess. But I think that team, is playing really well at the moment. I would have to say. I think this is probably the best league they've played all year. They've timed it well. They've looked good in their other gauntlet games. Um, I've been pretty impressed. I know like Hayri had a really strong performance last weekend.
Yeah.
But at the same time, despite that, they were only able to take one game off us last time. So I don't know. I think there are a number of roles where they're pretty significantly outmatched. I think our bot lane is just turbo smurfs are just insanely good. I think but especially out of lane, like the order bot lane. The order bot lane loves killing themselves.
It's a great way of putting it.
in the mid game. And out don't do that as much. Although if you watch the games back from the other week, Ray's definitely had a few suspect moments. But I think our bot lane is way better. I think Topoon is insanely good, and we made the conscious decision towards the end of Split 1 to have him perform a more carry-oriented role within the team, within the group,
Hmm.
especially with the departure of M&S in Split 1. And I think that's been really, really positive. I think he's having him as one of the focal points of the team has made us way more dangerous. And I expect him to do really well on the weekend.
Nice.
Any surprises, Tim? That's like I'm trying to get behind the veil here. I'm trying to get into the mind of the boys and work out what's the troll ideas that they're coming out with in their minds, like an Aatrox Xin Zhao bot lane, and what is the secret sauce that we should be looking forward to this weekend? You got to give it to us. What's going on?
I don't know how many troll games you'll get this weekend. Maybe if it's just like if they're getting like super stomped, that we win 2 15-minute wins out of game 1 and 2 or something. But like generally, it's pretty. It's not even that exciting, really. Like most of it is just like, oh, can we do TFT comp, or like can we, it's mostly just Jahoon. Topoon wants to play supports top. Like that's like he just I don't know he finds that really funny. But secret sauce, I don't think there will be one. I think fundamentally they're a better team. and I think playing Fundamental League of Legends will get them a pretty one-sided win. I think if if the games just play out, you know what I mean? If teams just trade the way they're supposed to trade, you know what I mean? If junglers paths in a I want to say regular, what is regular pathing, but like if nobody does anything crazy, I'm pretty confident that we will win in a handy fashion. For me, the special sauce is not letting Order do anything wild. Because I think if we play 35-minute front to back League of Legends, we will win 3-0, 3-1.
You hear that, Spawn? 3-0, 3-1's pretty good. Just saying, it's pretty confident.
I mean, it's classic competitive mindset in terms of how to macro beyond within the game, but to macro the game itself is to be able to force your opponent to play your game, right? So if the secret sauce is not having secret sauce, but just stripping it back to fundamental League of Legends, I guess that's going to be the key for your match, is making sure that you keep Order in their order box and don't let them pull out anything that can change that up.
I mean, best of fives will always have their own meta, and we'll see what they do. We'll see what the game sort of ends up being. I mean, especially after the first two games, really sets the tone for what the series will look like. But when I think about the way the teams match up, it's like I don't know. Both teams have sort of utility players, role players, and carry players. But I feel like our utility players provide more utility, and our carries have more firepower. It's not. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's levels, and I think we're on a different level right now. Like I said, I think Order have been playing really well, for sure. And I thought their gauntlet matches were really strong. They had a really strong showing. And there are a few players on that team that I've worked with before, or that I hold in very high regard. But I think our team is just clicking at the moment, and I'm excited to see how they go.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I for one am really pumped up for the weekend. I just want to know, Tim, which match, if you think it's going to go 3-0, which match number are you excited to see? Are you excited to see the two-way tie breaker, or are you excited to see the first match, the second, third, fourth? Tell me, which one are you more excited to see?
What, individual games in the series?
Individual games in the split in the grand final.
Yeah, and I think game one will be good. Like, tone setter. What's the day going to look like? Game one's always good, and then probably like the last game. Like I'm not, I don't think it'll be 3-0, like for sure. The last series we played was only 2 weeks ago, and that was 3-1. A friend of mine says if you can win one game, you can win three. Even if you have a 1% chance to take a game and you do it one time, we just got to roll that 1% 3 times. It's possible. So I'm not sure it'll be 3-0 like 100%, but I think game one will be interesting, and then the final game will be the most fun, I think, to watch. Be the most exciting. I mean, look, I would not be against a 5-game slobber knocker. You know what I mean? Like, if it's five grinded long games and it's
good luck to your heart.
Yeah, but like I don't know, man. Like I love this shit. Like that's what, you know what I mean? It's like winning 3-0. Like winning 3-0 is not exciting. Going to Worlds is exciting. You know what I mean? And if winning 3-0 is the stress-free way to get there, then like sign me up. But like I like being stressed over games. Like that's why I'm here. I enjoy that.
It means you care. It means you care and passionate. That's
so
basically
for me, like a 3-2 super tight, and obviously we need to win in the end. But like the close, if I had the choice, honestly, if I had the choice between a 3-0 win on like a reverse sweep win tomorrow, I would choose reverse sweep. Absolutely.
Because it's like a 3-0, but you let them have a head start, right?
yeah.
I mean, look, I'm probably most excited for Game 4 because it either isn't going to happen according to your predictions, Tim, or it's going to be the nail biter that finishes it off. So I think Game 4 is the way to go. But let's take that and we go, okay, we're assuming Game 4 doesn't happen or you win it anyway, and that's 3-1, done. You're going to Worlds. You're no stranger to the global stage, Tim, and it's going to be a big journey for some of your players as well. What's going to be your advice to them if and when that fat dub comes this weekend and they've got to consider what's happening globally?
It's pretty crazy. Some of the guys, like Isles, has played. This is his first year of OPL. He's played, I think, 4 weeks of stage games. So that's okay. You played Friday and Saturday, so it's like 8 individual times that you've been to the studio, which sounds like a lot, but it's like he played on LAN until week 4, and then that was it. And then since then, he's been playing, in the same gaming room the whole time, and then he's going to go from that to the world stage. Like that's going to be a crazy transition for him. Same with Halo.
That's a deep end kind of swim.
Like Halo has never been on the OPL stage. We had to go past Riot the other day for like a media day thing with Halo, and he wanted me to show him the studio. You know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, where do they play? Where do they play?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, it's just through here." But like, he might be in China in a few weeks' time, and literally having never played on the OPL studio before. So I think for those two especially, it's going to be crazy. For the others, like Quinn. Raze has been to Worlds, Babip's been to Worlds, Tophoon's been to Worlds. I've been there. Denian, I think, went to an international tournament, but like a really long time ago, like 10 years ago or something like that. So it'd be probably pretty new for him again as well. But no, I mean, on the one hand, like it won't be. It's not Worlds like last like the other years. There's not going to be a huge crowd. Like it's a bubble system, pretty sure. Well, I'm not. I am sure. I know that's what it is. So there won't be crowds, but still, it's it'll be very different.
I mean, very much so. Like I just caught a bit of the LPL before we jumped into the show, and I saw the intro, and they did a very good job of like setting the stage and like had lights in all the seats, and a cosplayer dressed as Lux came in and did this like a massive. I forgot what an ulti is like. Yeah, the alt link. I thought it was pretty cool.
Final Spark. Yeah, they changed the name. Finalis.
Finalis. That's what I was thinking of. Oh my god, I'm such a boomer, man. Do people still have pizza feet? That thing? I missed the pizza feet.
I think they took that out.
Oh man. Well, as long as like Mordekaiser's still got his AoE spell, and he does that castle thing, that'll be nice. I hope he's still got that. And APE, is that still a thing?
No, definitely not. You are showing your age.
I was one of those assholes that would pick it immediately.
Yeah,
and be like, "Why are you guys dying?"
Yeah, I bet you would.
But one of the things, what's interesting about China, especially the LPL finals, and it might just be a time thing, but like some parts of China are restriction free. Like I don't know you guys, but I was watching the videos of the festival that was happening in Wuhan, which was just like
the pool festival.
Yeah, it was just like however many thousands of people just like dancing and stuff. So it seems like some areas don't have restrictions. So for the World's finals, I can understand because there's people from other countries and they don't expose them to that risk, whatever. But if China is, maybe they could have got a crowd on Earth. But
yeah, it seems like a interesting experience. Are you guys prepared? Are you guys expected to be going through some like sort of levels of restrictions? Because you're going to be one of the very few Australians that are allowed to leave this country, travel overseas, hear the sound of the air. Like, how are you feeling with that? Like,
I mean, we've done a lot of that stuff already. It's been a pretty lengthy process, actually. We started already.
Yeah, run us through that. I want to know.
Well, it's just. I mean, we personally aren't doing it. Riot's taking care of a lot of that stuff for us, and
of course,
they obviously have them and Tencent have influence in China, which helps. But I think we started a month and a half ago already with the process, or of visas and flights and all that stuff. It's been a lot of work, and it's taken a long time, and it's still ongoing. Um, for me personally, like I'm not confident that we will make it until we're there. Because who knows what happens? We could be in the air, and some new development might come out, and we might get turned around in China, and they might say, "Oh, actually, no, you can't come in. Go back home."
Yeah.
Like anything could happen. So until we're in the hotel, ready to play on the stage, whatever the setup is there, until we're there,
Yep.
I'll be holding my breath because I think there's so many points it could go wrong at.
That's fair. I mean, it's such a I don't know. To me, being in like isolation and lockdown for so long, it's kind of like a foreign territory of traveling.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, I was just like, I really hope like imagine if we were like patient zero, or well, I mean, obviously it's here already, but like, you know what I mean? Like we go to China, come back, and then like just infect the entire country, and then we go down in history as like the
Team
COVID
Legacy
gamers
infects
or whatever,
the
like
COVID gamers. Oh my god, I can see it in the headlines now.
On Today
Yeah.
Tonight, COVID gamers,
Gamers
how
and bat
your
suit.
brain's being rotted by video games and the new
Yes.
virus.
Yes.
More at 9.
That's
Okay, first of
definitely
all,
crossed
today
my
tonight.
mind.
Two things, Judge. For what you just said. Today Tonight doesn't exist anymore, and Today Tonight is Channel 7.
It's
Channel
just,
7.
it's just Lisa
You think it's
Wilkinson
60
out the
minutes.
front of
Yeah.
our house throwing like rotten cabbages. Go back
That's
to
it.
China.
Boo, Legacy, boo. I'm sure there's proper precautions that you guys have to take, and you're working very strictly
Oh,
within
absolutely.
the guidelines
Yeah, for sure.
for the people that are
I mean,
listening.
we
I
have
just
to,
wanna-
if we do get there, we have to quarantine there. We have to quarantine when we're back. It's going to be a whole. I'm losing, assuming we make it, of course. But I think we lose. Like I lose like
a month
2
or
months or
something,
so, or like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Month and a half for like 3 days of competition
Mm.
in the middle.
I hope you're.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I hope you've stocked up for that. Like,
I've not. I've thought about. I'm trying not to think about it, to be honest.
that's good.
It's gonna be a wild time. I don't know. I go loco. But we'll try and keep it together, and then hopefully the guys win at play-ins, and that will be the best.
Yeah, I think it's one of those don't count your chickens before they hatch. Really, is that you don't start thinking about it until you're like, oh my god, what have we done?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like we'll deal with it when we get there. We'll spend a lot of time looking out the window, knowing the players while they try to prepare. I don't know, and then doing it back here as well will suck. I don't know. I'm looking that part. I'm not looking forward to, but I don't know. It's weird. It's just this whole year has been weird, man. I mean, it's weird for everyone. Like I travel so much normally. There's so many lands that happen around the country, stuff that happens overseas. Like
MEO, IEM, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I spent a lot of time in Adelaide as well, just because that's where the club is, and it's like I haven't, I've been at home for like maybe like 6 months running. The last time I went to Melbourne a few times in like February, and it's been it feels so weird.
Yeah, it's really shit where it's weird. I was chatting to an Uber driver about this. There's such a weird experience that we can't just go see our friends down in Melbourne or see our loved ones down in in different states. I can't see my parents that live up in Queensland. So it's kind of like it's a thing that you can't do. It's like there are times that you kind of look back at it and be like, oh, we had it so easy, and then.
I mean, I mean, it'll be I think for a lot of people, it'll be a defining part of who they are. What generation they belong to. I think they've been giving us letters, but I think for a lot of kids or young adults now, this would be a formative experience for them, especially if we're stuck in it for the next couple of years. I mean, there's no guarantee that we'll be leaving anytime soon. So you might spend imagine being 18 now and you fucking stuck inside until 21. Like that'd be different.
Oh, it's absolutely harrowing. It might
be good. I'd probably be a lot healthier. I'd probably be a lot healthier now. That
I
was
mean,
okay.
I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter and stuff like that using this time to start working out and taking up new hobbies. So there's sort of some sort of silver linings coming out in it.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, like, yeah, I've been trying to, like, we're all been trying to keep ourselves busy and everything. So I'm hoping that, like, whatever comes out of this weekend, you guys come out really do a really good job and, like, play your best League of Legends. I think that's the best you can all do, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, I mean that's what we'll have to
Mm.
do. I think, like I said, the boys are confident. They prepared well. This is a culmination of 8 months of work for them, especially with MSI not happening. It's like we've played so many games of League and we've won so many of them, but the end result has been us staying here more or less. And so I know that tomorrow means a lot to them, and it would mean a lot to me to see them succeed because I know how hard they've worked and I know how successful they've been without reward. So really looking forward to it, and hopefully by this time, or not tomorrow, because I might still be playing, but Saturday it's all over, and I start worrying about what I'm going to do in quarantine.
Well, you know what, Tim? I have something that you can
Yep.
do in quarantine. You can help me and Daddy Riot out. Because last time you were on the show, you had quite an impassioned
I wouldn't say it was
review of the champion pool of League of Legends.
impassioned. That's a
Impassioned. That's the word I'm using. We all know how much you love Bard, the Wandering Caretaker, Tim. He's probably your favorite champion in League of Legends. And I think, if anything, he needs a buff. But Riot listened, allegedly, and we're giving you the opportunity to do a full overhaul a la Mordekaiser, or a la Aatrox, and give Bard an overhaul. So, Tim, if we could shape the Wandering Caretaker, the Spirit Seeker, into being your champion, what are we going to do? And let's start with his passive.
Traveler's
Okay,
Call.
I'm glad that you started there because, frankly, I wouldn't change anything except that. Like, I think Bard has lots of fun, between quotes, tools, um, in his kit. Like his ult is like there's a lot of unique stuff about Bard. Like his ult is unique. His the tunnel is unique. Okay, he has a heal that gives move speed. Like that's not unique, but um, his Q, the stun, is also unique, tying two people together. So like I think there's a lot of cool stuff in his kit, but it's really just the passive. Like the chimes is what ruins the experience of playing with him because he constantly leaves you. He's your like the way that the meta has defined a support is as being someone who is there to keep the AD carry alive, to facilitate that person to become a carry in the late game. But the chimes are
Yeah.
antithetical to that. They are Bard, like you should leave, you should roam, you should go just leave this guy and go do something else because like there's these things and they make a little nice noise and gives you a little dopamine hit,
Yeah,
makes you feel
yeah,
good.
yeah.
So
I'm
like
guilty of that.
go find the chimes, and then while you're finding the chimes, something happens in that sort of area. So then you're like, well, now I'll go help them, I guess. And then the end result is the poor AD carry's been on his own for 5 minutes, getting frozen off the wave, hating his life. So like I think you could literally just keep Bard the same, just remove his passive, and then I don't know, make it literally anything else because like the rest of his kit is good for roaming, but it would just be better if he roamed in the same windows that like regular supports roamed. I think instead of just like fucking around picking up
Yeah. Do you
matches.
think do you think you could do something in the sense of, like, after you do an ability gain a certain amount of move speed and you remove the move speed from Caretaker Shrine, for example, and let's just say at the end of, like, Tempered Fate or Magical Journey, um, and, like, Cosmic Binding, you and or your allies that went through it get like a small movement speed buff, or would that be a bit like you cast the ulti on it and it gets an ally and an enemy? The ally gets an increased movement speed
Yeah,
while the
okay, I
ally
get you.
enemy, if that makes sense. And like
Yeah,
after you take the tunnel, your ally gets movement speed while the enemy gets like slowed or something.
yeah. I feel like that's
So
maybe like a bit
is that
redundant in the sense that like most of his abilities provide mobility already. So like
right?
you've just taken a tunnel through half of the map. That would have taken you ages. It would have taken you ages to walk around. Like you probably don't need like a little move speed buff at the end. You probably already saved a bunch of time. So
what about a movement speed slow then?
a punishment
for the
you're
enemies.
punished for using your abilities. Or if they go through the tunnel,
you're playing Bard. You should be punished.
and no, I really think just is passive because like the rest of his kit makes sense together because the W gives you move speed if you run over it and you place it. You can, you know what I mean? Like, okay, going through a tunnel, running over the heel that gives you move speed, and then Bard peeling you with a stun. By the guy chasing you through the tunnel, he stuns him against the wall. Like thematically, logically, it flows together. Like it makes sense in my mind, at least.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. It seems nice when it happens. So like, I'm fine with the kit as a gameplay mechanic. Like I think it's good, but yeah, it's literally just that.
I think my big thing, and I'm totally with you thematically and logically, it's kit in that to also fit with the lore and to fit with the character he is as the wandering caretaker, he's about freely moving, but he cares for the meeps, he cares for the AD carry, and that's the kind of that's the theme I get for him as a support. But then I look at that passive. And how can a caretaker just fuck off? Like that is ultimately what he's doing. Is not caretaking.
He doesn't give a shit about his AD carry. He cares about his meeps. I'm sorry.
And I think there's just not enough incentive, which I think would be extremely hard to balance for an AD carry to wander with him. Like he as the wandering caretaker fucks off, and that's great.
Yeah, he's looking after the meeps. He's not looking after.
There's no incentive for anyone else.
They should make the meeps closer to him rather than spawning at the other side of the map where he has to.
Because then they would be broken. Because the meeps themselves, like the stats, like they give you experience, mana, and move speed. So like if they were actually near him, he would just be like he would be super broken. Which is why they need to be in bumfuck nowhere. But like. They should just remove. I don't know. I think they should just remove that. Just give him something. Just give him literally anything else. And, well, maybe not literally because they'd probably come up with something. You know, given
Stickman.
Given what they've done with the last couple champs.
Yeah. One of Stickman San in the chat just said, "If only he had Zillion's passive."
Like experience.
Like experience.
Yeah. Something that.
And you could give something to the AD carry after your adventure.
After you leave.
Yeah. Something that encourages you. But it's also like, okay, so it's all because the problem is just like it's the meta, right? It's just how we play the game. It's not about the champion itself. It's like the way we play the game is like this guy, he's supposed to do this. He normally does this. And then when he doesn't do that, that's a surprise and we don't like it. So it is an interesting problem. You know, it's like it's not necessarily a gameplay problem that he has meeps, but it's just like the way we've decided the game needs to be played, he doesn't fit into. So that was makes it annoying.
Yeah. I mean, that's a common trend with right now when they're like, no, this is not how this person's supposed to be played. We're going to change that. They did that with like AB Tristana. We were chatting about APE before. They changed. I know APE was fucked, but like I'm just saying, like they're like, you're not supposed to play it like that. So
yeah. I mean, some stuff is like I don't think that's always bad. I don't think it's always bad that they like enforce the meta. Like early on, right, it was like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to enforce a meta. We just want to like balance the game and like you guys figure it out. But at a certain point, like I remember they came out and they were like, okay, we are going to do this. So I don't think that's the worst. Like I don't think the game is in a way worse position as a result. I think it's just you're always going to have outliers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're always going to have outliers, and Bard just happens to be one of those outliers. But he's also really strong meta right now. So I don't know. It's kind of funny that I had that episode shitting on Bard, and then literally like a week later, it was like, okay, Bard's actually the most broken support in the game.
I remember we were chatting with a bunch of diveballs, but I forgot who it was with, but they were just like, as soon as Cupcake gets Bard, he's like unbeatable.
Yeah, it's like I can't.
I think it was like last split.
I can't. Yeah, I can't flame it anymore. Everybody played because I used to play when I played solo queue. People pick Bard. It used to be like, please don't pick that. But now I can't say anything. Now I just have to be like, yeah, fair enough. Like, okay, please do.
Like, God, I hate you, but goddamn, do I respect you.
For me, I see the Bard pick, and it's like Rick and Morty. Like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Like, that's...
We're going on a journey.
Yeah, quick 20-minute adventure, in and out. That's all it is. And at the end of it, I've just lost LP. So
Look,
I feel still pretty bad
Tim,
about it.
yeah.
But I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Tim. That was a very simple review, and actually much more
Very
simple than I
methodical,
thought
very
it would
calm of you. You've done a lot of growing since we last spoke. I've seen some great
6 weeks
character
or whatever.
development. You literally yelled at us for like 10 minutes, but now you're just like, well, guys, it's kind of...
Well, that was the
I
problem. He
can't-
became meta, so I had to. You know what I mean? I let Bard into my life like a month or two ago, so that's
We
just
all
how it
let
has to
Bard
be.
into our life, accept praise the Lord Bard, and we accept him and all his all his graceness. I'd like to hear is there anyone else that is grinding your gears besides Bard? Who's
In the game, no, not really. Nothing crazy. Nothing that I hate right now. Bard really, because the thing about Bard was like it annoyed me for a long time already, for like years. But no, I think the game's in a pretty good spot at the moment. Like, okay, there are always going to be outliers, and there's going to be some champs that are stronger than others. And I think, I don't know. I think we've been on a power creep with like released champions for a while, and I think that's getting worse, not better. Like, they're actively releasing stronger champions every time. So like, it's like sort of careful with the word exponential, but it's like it feels like it's exponential with the champs they're releasing. Which isn't great, but other than that, I think it's all good. I don't know. I think the game's in a good spot. I'm excited for Worlds Meta. It'll probably change a bunch, but I think what we're seeing now is still pretty interesting. Like, it's not all scaling comps or like early, you know what I mean? It feels like a pretty healthy mix at the moment. No, I think they've done a decent job with the Worlds Meta.
I think it's in a good spot. Well, Tim, that reaches the end of the time that we have with you tonight. But thank you very much, my friend, for coming on the show, giving us your wonderful insights into what it is to be a GM of such a great team in this OPL split. Is there anything you want to add before we bid you farewell?
Plug away.
Obviously we play tomorrow. Check it out. Please support us. Hope to see you all there. I don't know. My official title is head of esports. I'm not a GM. I'm responsible for all things esports. Okay.
True.
Operations, content, people,
True.
players. So I think is one key difference between me and a lot of the other people who do this job is that. What was that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have anything to plug except Legacy Esports.
Yeah, go check them out, everyone. Their Twitter is in the Tim's Twitter is in the chat below. Please go give him a like. Go check him out. But Tim, before you head off, I really need to know. There's a question that's been asked in the chat. Did Legacy ever get the Split One trophy? Can you answer that for us?
No, I can't answer that for you.
Didn't?
No, we didn't. I asked,
right, what's going on?
I asked a few times. They never give you the trophy. I think no team owns a trophy. They just like inscribe your name on their trophy, which they keep at the office.
Oh my God, I'm shattered.
But like we haven't. I don't know. I've been trying to get photos taken with it, but it hasn't been possible thanks to COVID. And this weekend won't be at the studio again, so I feel like. I don't know. I was saying this to the other day again to another friend that it would be the most legacy way to finish a year. Would be because one thing I left out of the history of Legacy is how unlucky we have been. I think in the League of Legends scene, I think there's a lot of things that didn't go our way at crucial moments that really hurt. That I don't talk about much, but I think, the idea that the year that we finally win 2 titles, we never get a trophy, we never get to travel. Just nothing happens. We just reset, and it starts all again the next year. You know what I mean? Like that would just be.
Yeah,
that would just be extremely.
You wake up in some sort of fever dream.
Yeah, but I don't know. Hopefully, we get a trophy this time, and hopefully, we get to go to Worlds. I've not given up yet.
Yeah, awesome.
Otherwise, we're going to have to get Riot to do, like, the Ashes. It's not the Ashes, but you'll get a tiny, tiny little summoner's cup.
I'll take anything. I would take
this
anything.
big.
Something just, you know what I mean? All I have at the moment is memories, and that's going to fade one day, so...
When you've got
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, if you can stare at
Please
someone
give
in
me
the
something to
mantle,
put
at
in the
least
pool room.
you won't be able to remember what it is, but it looks good.
Right? Give this man something tangible.
That's all I want.
Thanks heaps,
Thanks,
Tim.
Tim.
You've been an absolute pleasure as always, and
Thanks,
we hope you
guys.
have a
Take it
wonderful
easy.
night.
Take care, Tim. Thank you so much. Alrighty. We're gonna that was a lot of history to digest. How do you
It
feel?
was. Big
oh
history.
man,
I need a
oh yeah.
stretch. Need a
Posture check. 'Cause-
yeah. Someone redeem that posture check in the
'cause
chat.
We're
Oh geez.
we're gonna Swifty, can we get a posture check in chat, please? Yes, we can.
No posture check in chat.
I'm getting mixed signals.
Thanks,
I'm
Swifty.
getting mixed signals. But first, well,
All right. Well, Nico, I think it's time that we give the people what they need. We gave them what they want with Tim Carbon Wendell, the head of esports in our show. I think now we need to give them the esports news.
yes. Well, I hope you guys are ready for some of these little tiny chicky nuggies of worth of esports. Eat them on down with some sweet and sour sauce. Firstly, I want to initiate the esport news real quickly with a shout out to FBI. He played in a phenomenal game on the weekend past, where he just missed out on beating out TSM on a very thrilling. I think it was a 3-2. Unfortunately, they were knocked out, but we want to say that we commend FBI on his work. We were chatting about celebrating Aussies before, but here we are doing it right now. But yeah, FBI did a phenomenal game, and there was also a little bit of controversy. People chatting, saying they were going into his DMs and flaming him a bit. If you're going into players' DMs, just fucking don't. You can literally do anything with your life. Don't do that. Their players don't need it. They certainly, you know what you could do? Go to a mirror and look at yourself for like 30 minutes and just think, is this what I want to be? So you could go do that. Just don't be an asshole. These players are...
Just go to the mirror and have the boldness to tell yourself the horrible fucking things you're about to go put in some person's DMs and just like stare into your eyes as you say them and try not to cry because you're a piece of shit. Like that's all I want.
A lot of the things
right now is for people to leave people alone.
A lot of the things I would want to say about those type of people would break TOS. So the less I say, the better, for the sake of the show. Anyway, what I need to all I need to say. Sorry, I just got buzzed. Burger King have been plugging people's streamers using TTS. That's so bizarre, don't you? I think that's like a
It was real bad. It was real bad, man. So this guerrilla marketing tactic that was employed by a digital marketing company that I'm not going to name right now because I don't really want to give them any more publicity than they need. Their whole advertising campaign for Burger King over the past, I guess, a couple of weeks, really, all came to a head when they plugged on Twitter their show reel for this marketing announcement. And it was, all they were doing was giving donations to Twitch streamers that were the value of their products at Burger King, like a $5 hamburger or a $4 cheeseburger or whatever, and using text-to-speech to plug Burger King themselves.
Come on, guys.
It was an example of guerrilla marketing, and look, guerrilla marketing's been done for as long as marketing's been a thing, and there are some very, very good examples of how to do it. For example, one of my favorites, when Apple released all the colorways that they had of the iPod Nano. Do you remember that? You would remember the iPod Nano and how you get like the lime green one, the pink one.
Those. I wanted them.
Right.
They look great for running.
They were great. Yeah, and they looked sick. And so Apple had, because of all these colors and doing a variation of colors was a new thing, they had this billboard that had the paint, like the color running out of them down the billboard, right? A paint company in Europe then went and built and bought billboards underneath Apple billboards, having the same colors running into paint tins advertising their sale. Absolutely fucking brilliant. That's how to do it. Was not intrusive on anything Apple was doing. It just leveraged off their campaign to have another great campaign without being cannibalistic. But the major problem with this is that content creators have been pinned and pigeonholed into having advertisements in their content they have not approved and they haven't signed up for. Twitch advertisements are one thing. You subscribe to having that on the platform when you create on the platform. You're not subscribing to having Burger King paying ridiculously low rates to be leveraging your content.
100%.
So the whole Twitch community's blown up about it. The whole digital media community's kind of blown up on the side of Twitch streamers as well. They're not in approval of this, and we're yet to see the fallout stop.
I'm a little bit upset by it, and I think you, especially as a fellow Twitch streamer, if people don't know Judgy streams, he streams right here. I just linked it in chat. Please go follow. I'm a proud subscriber of his channel.
You are.
It's just unnecessary. It's kind of like you said. They're pinned. You haven't signed up for it, and you feel kind of gross about it. It's kind of like you've just been like, I don't know. It's like you didn't agree to this, and it's happening. It kind of comes off badly at Burger King. So I feel like the people at the marketing department at Burger King need to like take a step back. You guys are Burger King. You don't need this.
Yeah, that's it, man. I feel that, but look, they'll fix it up. Most brands do. In other brand news, though, we've got good news because Riot's partnered with a brand we actually like.
Yeah.
So Riot have announced a partnership with Cisco, which are a worldwide communications brand. Cisco is well known for doing network and phone infrastructure amongst many, many corporate entities. And they've actually partnered with Riot to bring upgrades to some of their systems, to be their partner for some ongoing projects. Most notably is for The Realm, which is the LAN client that Riot uses for events such as Worlds and All-Stars. Although most disappointing, my friend, I don't think we're going to be getting any upgrades to the client for ourselves anytime soon.
Well, we're just going to stick with old buggy client then.
But in other good news, and I actually thank you, producer Swifty, for dropping this in, but I did actually see this yesterday as well. It has been announced that they have an exclusive partnership with Spotify. Riot are going to be producing some League of Legends exclusive content podcasts on Spotify too, including the LoL exclusive playlists from a lot of their releases. Of course, they had the popular KDA release, the True Damage release. Before that, they had... they've got Valorant doing really well, and music around that being very popular. Even before that, they had the Pentakill album. Yes. They had the War Songs album that are all doing very, very well and are fan favorites. So Spotify getting some good integration with League of Legends is great to see. And again, it's Riot bridging the gaps between what is traditional gaming media and other avenues such as music.
And we're going to be jumping onto the last one of our list. We're going to be looking at a bit of Dota 2 stuff. The International 20, TI-20, has just broken its own record of having the highest prize pool in any esport event. And it's now sitting at $34 million as of broadcast. $34 million, and is expected to go to 40. How can they keep getting away with it?
Dota prize pooling keeps getting bigger and bigger year on year, and I'm yet to see it reach critical mass, Nico. I'm yet to see it, and I'm happy about
I, for one, am responsible with a small portion of that prize pool because I do play Dota 2 a lot. So I feel humbly a part of this. I feel all like giddy inside because I'm like, I helped pay Anna's salary for a year. A little bit of it.
You feel like you're contributing, Nico. You're doing so well to keep the Dota 2 pro scene alive. I'm proud of you.
It's the small things that I do. And I want to hear something that you do very well, Judge. It's a little thing that is called the All Weekend in Esports.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your weekend in esports coming up right now. It might have finished. Get there quick after the show. It's the LPL 2020 Pro League. We had TES and JDG facing off as all things League of Legends come to a close with every region preparing for Worlds. PUBG Continental for Season 2 is also on right now. It's the Asia bracket that are fighting it out. They're in rounds at the moment. The PUBG Continental being a $200,000 prize pool, so make sure you check that out. CSGO has one of my favorite titled events playing out at the moment. Also, it's the Eden Arena Malta Vibes 400k event. Myba and Hellraisers facing off in what should be a damn good match. Tomorrow morning, if you wake up at 9 a.m., you can catch the PUBG Continentals for Season 2 in NA. That'll also be rounds for North America. 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon is the League of Legends OPL Split 2, and that's where you'll see Legacy face off against Order. We spent most of our show talking about it, so you should go watch the bloody thing. At 7 p.m. tomorrow night, it's the 2020 DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters, and we're going to be having the upper bracket semi-final. Get around to it and get some old school StarCraft 2 into your veins. On Saturday, if you get up bright and early at 2 a.m., you'll have the LEC lower bracket semi-final. That'll be Mad against FC Schalke, and I think that one will be a good match to watch. It's probably not worth a 2 a.m. unless you're a real big LEC fan. At 2:30 a.m., you're going to have ESL 1 Cologne for Europe. That's Astralis and NIP, two fan favorites in European Counter-Strike, so make sure you get along to it if you can spare the early morning. At 6 a.m., we'll have CSGO. Once again, it's ESL 1 Cologne North America, and that'll be EG against Furia. EG, with their big rebrand this year, could be a good matchup against Furia, and it's not as early as the European matchup. At 4 p.m., we'll also have the ESL 1 Cologne matches for home. It's the OCE rounds moving in for that, and worth a watch. Heading into Sunday, and to wrap up your weekend in esports, at 1 a.m., you'll have the League of Legends LEC upper bracket final, which is Fnatic and G2. One of these teams will be going on to Worlds, so worth the watch, especially because you can give Carlos a heap of grief if G2 don't make it. And at 10 p.m., we'll have the PUBG Continental for Season 2 in APAC, bringing it back home. That'll also be in the rounds, and I'm sure you can catch Xenox casting that one.
Oh man, I love to watch you work. Oh, that was very good. Thank you so much to Tim for joining us on the show. We linked his Twitter, so go check out his stuff. Also, please go support them tomorrow night. I know everyone will be because we're all big OPL fanatics. I don't know who I'm going for. I like to see them all win. If they all fought the one Nexus, maybe they would all win. Let's just put that out there.
Everyone can get 50 gold for last hitting the
exactly.
Nexus.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you so much, Judge, for coming onto the show, or coming on the show, being my co-host. What am I talking about? You're my co-host.
Happy to be here, friend. Happy to co-host this wonderful production with you.
And I am a co-host of you. And thank you so much to the people that are watching at home. This show wouldn't be anything without you guys. We love and support you, and as you support us, it's been an absolute love, it's a love trip for us. A love letter. Let's do love letter. It's a love letter for us. So it's a love letter.
How's your penmanship, Nico? I
haven't got my license. I've been doing it without my license for years now. Exactly. I live life to the fullest. And also, one person that doesn't get enough credit for this show is Swifty, Joshua Swift. He is the brains, the brawn, he's everything. He's the steam, he's the coal in the machine that is pushing us along, and I just want a big shout out to him as well. And also, please check out all the stuff that we do at Snowball, at snowball.com, snowballesports.com, and like and follow the group on the socials as well. I think hopefully it'll be linking in chat. I can't see chat right now, but hopefully it's been linked down there. Follow us on Twitter. We've got an Instagram and Facebook as well. Please check out all the articles. Everyone all the content we're popping out on Snowball right now has been absolutely top notch, and we cover everything. Even Dota 2, because I make sure we do.
We certainly do. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Longest show for you tonight, and we have to thank Tim Carbon-Wendell for giving us great Bard insights. Good night, everybody. Sleep tight. Don't let the big bugs bite, and hopefully you'll have a great weekend of esports.